Death metal may not be everyone's cup of tea, but Chthonic's Freddy Lim is likely to give fans food for thought when he reveals the inspiration for his latest music video, which was released just before it was revealed he was set to become Taiwan's next representative to Finland. He shares that story with us in this week's edition of Taiwan Talk.
The song Endless Aeons, it's like the closure of the whole music video series in the last decades of Chthonic. We invented a character that tried to change the history of Taiwan after 228 incident and during White Terror period. So we let him like trapped in reincarnation to try to do it again and again to change the history of Taiwan. Like he has the magic, but he failed every time. So it's a tragedy that we are repeating doing it video by video. But in the latest one, the Endless Aeons, because personally that I just found my grandfather was a victim of 228 incident as well. So I feel like it's like the invented character just came into the real life to me, the real life of my family. So I talked to the director that how we can let the fake world, the invented world, meet the real world. So that's how the video is done right now. So people, when the audience watch the video, it's like the first half of the video is still like the old tragedy repeating again, that he's been executed and his soul watched himself being executed and meeting the tragedy again. But the second half of the video, that he accidentally went through the portal into the stage of Chthonic. Then he came to the modern life and see all the audience that enjoy the music who invented him as well. So make the soul feel like actually he didn't really have to repeat the thing again and again. He can just let go. That's it. He doesn't have to try again.
Okay, you said this was a series of music
Yeah,
videos, right? How many did you do before this one?
like four. Yeah, one,
Over
two,
Tinian. How many years?
over 12 years. So there are many music videos that been played by this character, this actor, and we let him be executed in different ways. Of course, based on the true cases during 228 incident and the later White Terrors. We let him being like a symbol to remind that how Taiwanese have been tried through the whole democratic movements.
Lim also uses the music video as a platform to share a fundamental Buddhist belief.
It's not just about politics, but it's more about the reincarnation idea of the Eastern philosophy, that how we also want to show that to the metalheads around the world, because the other metal bands never use this kind of philosophy to introduce their music or their culture. So we use that, although it's a lot of political events, but also it's introduced the reincarnation idea to the Western metalheads. But after I found out that my own grandfather is a part of the history, then I think that's it. That's a beautiful closure of the whole series.
Okay, I was going to ask you if there was any part of your experience that influenced
Yeah.
this video. How did you find out about your grandfather?
I After I got elected to the parliament, I pushed for the Transitional Justice Act. A part of the act is to open all the political archives to the people. And the reason why I pushed for that, that's because I knew some families of those victims. So I have been worked with them even before I been elected to the parliament. I've been in their movement to because they want to know more about their elders, their families. So I feel like, yeah, after I got elected, I feel like it's a part of my duty to keep working on that. So in 2017, most of the political archives been opened by the government, and also most of the archives are online too. So like 2 years ago, 2023, I just feel like to check about my grandfather's names, or my relatives' names, to see, just coincidence, just curious about if there's any names of my families on the political archives. And then I just found out that my grandfather has been arrested during the 228 incident, and been uh, and after that, in after he's been bailed out, he has he and his family, which means my mother, they have been escaped from city to city. They've been moved a lot. So according to all those archives, I knew about my family. And my mother, my aunts, they didn't know anything about that before I found it. So they just felt they didn't know why they been moved around. Why my mother been has changed. She changed 5 elementary schools during her childhood. So she didn't know about anything about that. So after I found those archives and documents, I shared with my families, and they were shocked and cried, and they misunderstood their parents for a long, long time. So I just let them know that why they've been suffer from that kind of lives during their childhood, and also because I was so close with those victims and work on all those human rights activities a lot. I thought that I was helping others, but after I found out that there is a different energy driving around in my heart, that I want to write a song that about this feeling. So that's a new single about, and also the music, the video about.
Okay, now I understand why this is so important to you. Okay. So I was going to ask you also what your life after Lee Fayuan was. When did you write the song? Did you write the song after you stepped down, or while you were still in Lee Fayuan?
After I stepped down, I knew I have that feeling before I stepped down, but then I went to the Kyoto University that my grandfather graduated from, like almost 100 years ago. I went there to apply some documents from the school, from the university, to learn more about my grandfather, because all my aunts and my mother said that my they didn't think that my grandfather has all those political ideas, because they never heard that he talked politics at all. So they feel like he was being set up to be arrested. So I just want to know more about him. So I got his grades of his university, and also I get a lot of documents from him. Also, I knew that after school, after university, he has been to the Taiwan Minbao, which is the a Taiwanese newspaper, was strongly against Japanese colonial government back in that period. So I told my mother that he was not being set up. That's his idea. He has strong will to stand for democracy and freedom. So yeah, that's his idea. He just kept his mouth shut after he got arrested, and then to
So he never talked to you about it. He
no,
never talked to his children about it.
no, nobody knows about that. So I was the one to discover the whole story of him, and to share with my mother and aunts. And they have been my elders, my families. They have been misunderstood him for a long, long time. They were like, "How come you change your works all the time and let the whole family has to move around, like escape from something all the time?" And suffer that kind of miserable lives. So,
When did he pass away?
when I was in junior high, so it was like 30 years ago. Yeah, almost.
And you never talked about it.
No, he never talked about that.
He had nothing in the house to show or to indicate
No,
anything about his past.
no. So it's shocked for the whole family. For so you see, that's why there's a strong power inside me driving me want to write a song about that. Yeah, because I have written songs about 228 incident for all my life. Like I have written like 4 albums, and I have put on 228 memorial concert to help those victims, their families, and I never thought that I will be
One of them.
one of them.
How is the discovery changing your life, your political life, and your views? How is it impacted it in any way, or is it changed it in any way?
I think that's one of the very important reason why I decided to step down, because I feel like the how to say, I feel like because as an artist it's very difficult to find a beautiful a perfect closure of a thing, of a work. Yeah, it's always the most difficult part. So I have been pushed for transitional justice movements for a long time, and then I started to push for the related bills after I got elected, and by the end of my second term I found out that my grandfather is a victim. I think that's the perfect closure of my political parliamentarian career. So I just felt I think that's the closure. That's the best closure. I don't know if anybody else, if the other person get it, but personally I feel like that's a beauty. That's a perfect closure.
So that is the reason why you decided not to run anymore.
Not the only reason, but that's a very important reason. Yeah, as an artist, I always it's all a perfect closure, a perfect finale is always the difficult part of a song, of an album. So as a parliamentarian, how can I finish my term, my parliamentarian career? I think that when I found that story, when I read through all the archives of my grandfather, then I feel like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm done with the parliamentarian works.
Okay, so what direction do you expect your music taking now that you've managed to close that circle? There's gonna be a new circle. There's gonna be new ideas, new inspirations, right?
Hopefully I will have some new ideas, but actually I found more coincidence when I read through all the archives that I have invented so many different things in my music, and during the reading of all the archives, I just found out that not just my grandfather, but there are more coincidences in the archives related to my music. So I will have them packed in one piece of album to put all those coincidences in that album, and then continue the next journey.
So you're gonna keep writing music.
Yes, hopefully
That's not
maybe
going
next.
to stop.
No, so hopefully next year there's a new album. Hopefully.
You were listening to death metal musician and former politician Freddy Lim. I'm Hope Go. Thank you for tuning in.